Know is that when we left that theater, we felt genuinely disgusting. Like, we felt
I have that same feeling when I leave the theater, like disgusting and gross, but it's because I eat my weight in popcorn with extra butter, and then I'll eat the chips and cheese with the disgusting microwavable nacho cheese. I'll have a giant ass soda. You know, back in the day, I might even order a couple White Claws, and then I'll have like 2 hot dogs. And I don't even stop there. I'll get the pretzel bites too. And, you know, it's a lot of savory, so I'll probably also get the pizza cookie. And then I'll eat all of it, and I will leave that movie feeling disgusting and gross. So I totally get where she's coming from.
My name's Cowboy Baby. I'm going to be reacting to scary story times because, I don't know, it's nighttime. Look, it's nighttime. I'm scared. I don't do well with being scared when it's dark out,
So when I tell you that this
let's just jump in and hopefully I'm not scared.
story is one of the scariest stories that I've ever told, believe me, because this story has me so freaked out. So with that being said, let's
I believe her already, I do.
jump right into tonight's story. So grab your favorite tea and settle in and let me
Diet Pepsi. If you're my bodybuilding coach, don't be mad. It's Diet Pepsi. It's not full sugar.
tell you another scary Appalachian story because, of course, this is Tea After Midnight. This story comes from Hannah. Hey Savannah, I debated if I wanted to send you my story or not because I was afraid it would stir something back up. I really haven't gotten over what happened to me and my sister in the Appalachian Mountains a few years ago. We grew up in the mountains and have always enjoyed being outside. One of mine and my sister's favorite things to do is go ghost hunting. We've always been drawn in by the paranormal.
Are you kidding me? You need a new hobby. That's ridiculous. A ridiculous activity.
And have many stories from our childhood of ghostly encounters. But the story I'm sharing today is by far the scariest. Let me start by setting the scene. It was October of 2022. My sister was 20 and I was 23. We both had been trying to plan a spooky adventure for us to go on since we had gotten older and weren't able to do it as much now. My sister Janie had heard about this abandoned warehouse that was a few hours away from us that had a lot of history and apparently a lot of ghost sightings. We both agreed that this place would be perfect for us to go and explore. One of Janie's coworkers told her about it and said that they had actually experienced a few things there themselves. This made me excited because it had been a while since we had had a good scare. The day comes for us to head to this warehouse, and just by looking at Google Maps, I could tell that this place was in the middle of nowhere. The drive there, for the most part, was good.
If you want a good scare, go to my TikTok. Sometimes I do videos where I'm not wearing any makeup.
Until it said we were about 10 minutes away. My phone that was plugged in on the charger and was at 100% battery dies out of nowhere, and I couldn't get it to turn back on. My sister pulls up the address on her phone, but her phone starts glitching really bad and wouldn't give us the directions. I just kept driving and eventually it pops back up on her phone and said we were 2 minutes away. We turn right onto the road and her phone shuts off completely. She could not get it to turn back on, just like mine. As I'm driving, we eventually come up on this big rundown warehouse that definitely looks haunted and assumed that this was the right place. We get out and grab our bags and start making our way to the side entrance that was supposed to be the way to get in. We round the corner, but there was no door or any way in. I asked Janie if this sounded right, and she said no, that her coworker said that there would be a door frame that's open with the door set to the side of it that had been busted off. We walked to the back of the building, and there was a door that was pried open. We ended up walking in just thinking maybe her coworker got that detail wrong. When we entered into this building, immediately I got hit with a wave of nausea, something I'd never experienced at that level of intensity. My sister stopped and turned around and told me that her head was hurting really bad, like she had a migraine. A few moments later, her headache and my nausea disappeared. It was really so strange how suddenly it came on and how quickly it went away for both of us. But we kept walking further into this building that seemed more and more like a maze at this point. This building was definitely abandoned and falling apart and had a very bad smell to it. It smelled like sulfur. Both of us knowing that that could be a sign of a demonic presence, we gave each other a look.
Huh? Is that true? Since when? I've never heard that before. That's bizarre.
Look, and I said that we should be extremely careful with what we say as to not attract anything. The deeper we got into the warehouse, the darker it seemed to get. We had brought flashlights with us, so we took them out and started flashing them around, just checking the place out. My sister was in front of me, and she saw a door that was closed and said she wanted to check out what was in there. She tried to open the door, but the handle wouldn't.
Why? Why would you open a closed door? Come on. Why would you go in the building, first of all? Why do this at all? Many mistakes were made.
Move. She just assumed it was locked and kept moving. We see a different room with the door
You know what assuming does? Makes an ass out of you and your sister.
open, so we both walked in there. There was nothing in this room other than some old furniture that looked like it had been there for years. It was all turned over, looking like someone had gone in there and tried to break things. But while we were in that room, we heard what sounded like a door creaking open. When you think of a spooky place and a door opening and it makes that distinct creaking noise, that is exactly what we heard. Chills ran up my spine and my sister said, "That's our cue to leave." I was right behind her as we headed out of the room and back into the hallway. There was only one way out that we knew of, which was the same way we came in. We started heading back that way when we got back to the original door that we had tried to but couldn't open, and the door was wide open. My sister and I stopped in our tracks because we knew that door was closed earlier.
Oh, hell no. If they go in there, they got serious issues.
I stepped in front of my sister to walk ahead of her and tried to walk as quietly as we could by that room. We then hear this pure evil laughter coming from inside that room. Something not of this world. You could tell whatever just did that was something evil and demonic. I immediately grab my sister's arm and start running to pass that room and get out of there as quickly as possible. As soon as I passed the room, I felt my arm jolt back and drop down. I turn around and see my sister on the ground being dragged into this room where that demonic laughter was coming from.
What the fuck?
In chills right now. On my sister's leg, there was a long arm and fingers that were gripping her leg, pulling her into that room. I grabbed my sister's other hand and used all of my strength to pull her back toward me, away from that thing. I fell back with her in my hands because the thing had let her go. We jumped up and started running as fast as we could towards the door, but behind us, we could hear the loudest banging and running footsteps coming behind us. I know I shouldn't have, but I turned my head to look, and for a split second, I caught a glimpse of the thing that had tried to take my sister. A large black mass with long arms and fingers was flying towards us. And I don't mean flying like it was super fast. I mean levitating in midair, flying at us. But I could still hear banging all around us and footsteps chasing us. It truly was the most traumatizing thing I had ever seen. We make it out and into the car, flooring it out of there. The next few minutes were completely silent.
I just have one thing to say. Hold on. I'll say it through a TikTok.
Your pieces.
My gun.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah! Bah! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran in.
So anyway, I started blasting. First of all, I would never, ever do that. But if I did, I would buy a gun and then I would just start blasting. My God. I don't want to listen to that anymore. It sounds horrible and it's making me a little bit scared.
I need to tell you guys this ghost story. This story was sent into my
Do you need to tell us this ghost story?
email, and if you have any ghost stories, paranormal encounters, or scary stories that you want to share, you can
Hold on, is this? I just learned about these things. Is this a fuggler? Fuggler, a fuggler? I don't know what the appeal is, but you do
send
you.
them to the email in my bio. This happened in Vicksburg, Mississippi. For anyone who knows the history of the area, you know how much tragedy surrounds it. They can follow you home. Growing up in the South, there's always a saying that people use when leaving places like that. I brought nothing with me, and I take nothing back.
I live alone. I bought my house about a year and a half ago. First place that I ever had that was just mine, so I was super obsessed with it. Full 2-bedroom, off of a back road, big yard, woods that go on forever behind the property line. The previous owner was an older.
That would scare me if woods that go on forever was in my backyard, because you don't know who the hell's coming up out of those woods. I need a fence.
Woman who passed away in the home. Her family sold it as is. I didn't care, and I got it under asking, so I felt like I hit the lottery, because you know how expensive buying houses is these days. The first few months were completely normal, literally nothing out of the usual. But then I started noticing my dog. I have a shepherd mix named Rue, sweetest thing on earth, never barked at anything, not even the mailman, not thunder, nothing. But around late September, he started doing this thing where he would sit at the bottom of the stairs and he would just stare up. Not bark, not whine, just stare. Sometimes it would be for 20 minutes. It wasn't something that was brief. I would call him and he wouldn't move. And he's always been so obedient and would run right to me when I say his name. But this time he just wouldn't. He'd just tilt his head like he was listening to something. I told myself there's got to be mice in the attic. You know, he can hear better than me. There's something in these old walls that he hears that I just can't. I even paid a guy to come check. Nothing. No droppings, no nests, no chew marks. He said the attic was cleaner than most of the attics he sees, especially for a home this old. Then the smell started. Only in the guest bedroom. Only at night, and only sometimes. It smelled like pennies and wet laundry. I would open up the door in the morning and it would be gone. I burned candles. I bought one of those plug-in things that goes off every once in a while. I convinced myself that it was one of the vents. In November, I woke up around 3 in the morning because Rue was growling, low in his chest. It was deep, the kind of growl I didn't even know it was possible for him to make. He was standing at the foot of my bed facing the hallway.
Guys, I hate this. I hate this.
My bedroom door was open, which was normal. I always sleep with it open. Pause. Girl, close that damn door. We'll talk about that later. Sleep with it open so he can get...
Oh no, what? What? Don't say that. I sleep. Oh my god. But I have dogs, so they like to, come and go. My god.
Out to his water bowl. I looked down the hallway. The guest bedroom door, which I keep closed, was also open. And there was a woman, clear as day, standing in the doorway. I want to be so clear about this because I've replayed it 1,000 times. She was not see-through. She was not glowing. She was not floating. She looked like a person. Like a regular, real person. Older, maybe 70s, wearing a nightgown, gray hair down past her shoulders. She was just standing there with her hands at her sides, looking at me. I didn't know how to read her. She wasn't angry. She wasn't sad. She was just looking. I couldn't move though. I couldn't scream. I've heard people say that, and I always thought that was dramatic, but I swear to you, my body would not respond to me no matter how many times I kept telling myself to move. I could feel my hands shaking. I could see that she was taking a step in the hallway, one step toward my room. I also could see my phone lighting up on the nightstand out of the corner of my eye. Not a notification sound, just the screen turning on. Finally, I was able to move my neck, and when I looked back, she was gone. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I sat there with every light on until the sun came up. The next morning, I told myself I dreamed it. I'm a rational person. I really am. I googled sleep paralysis, which I actually see you talking about a lot on your page, which is one of the things that really motivated me to send you this message. Interesting seeing how many people who have experienced this also have experienced paranormal situations. I tried to make it make sense in my head, and I moved on. Until a few weeks later, I was going through a box of paperwork the previous owner's family left in the basement. There was property records, old tax stuff. They told me I could toss whatever I wanted. In the bottom of a box, I found this small photo album, and I flipped through it because
Oh, hell no. Should have thrown it out.
honestly, I'm nosy. There was a picture of her, the woman, identical, the same face, the same long gray hair. She was standing in what I now know is my guest bedroom, wearing the nightgown. Somebody had written on the back of the photo in pen, and it said, "Mom, the night before." I don't know what the night before what meant. I do not want to know. I've not slept in that room since. Yes, I still live there. I keep that door closed and I put a chair in front of it, which I know sounds insane, but I sleep better knowing it's there. Rue still sits at the bottom of the stairs sometimes. He still stares. And no, I'm not moving, which also really made me think of your page, because people think you're crazy when you say that your parents still live in the house that is haunted where you had so many crazy experiences. I definitely applaud you for trying to get to the bottom of it. I kind of want to start the same sort of journey in this house. I want to know why I saw her. Why is she there? And truthfully,
Because she needs something. She's not healed. I don't know. She still has business here. I don't know. Not me, though. I would move the fuck out of that house. You kidding me? Absolutely not.
A nurse at a county jail, and I could tell you many creepy stories from the job, but this one creeps me out the most, and I still have no explanation. This spooky scary story time was submitted by someone named Sam, and she says a few years ago she was working and she picked up a daylight shift, and when she arrived on shift, another nurse informed her that they were going to be taking in a male patient who had just been released from a state hospital for mentally unstable people, and that he was a paranoid schizophrenic who believed that Jesus had chosen him to work with angels. Inmate did not trust anyone at all. He believed that most people were out to get him, but he actually grew to like and trust Sam pretty quickly, and she was the only one that he trusted enough to give him his weekly injections. The weekly injection he received was one of his most important psych medications, so every week he would come to the medical department and Sam
I'm betting it's Giadon. Always Giadon.
was the only one that could treat him, and she was okay with this. But one day he's in there and he's telling her all about the importance of the numbers 4 and 7. He told her that when the numbers 4 and 7 align, they build a stable foundation. He said the number 4 is all about stability and trusting yourself, while 7 is related to luck and good fortune. She's nodding and she says okay, and she's letting him ramble, and he says, well, you are the 4 because you're a good person, and I am a 7 because I believe in myself and the power that Jesus has given me. She says, okay, and he says, yes, I know this because I was born on September 15th, 1994, and you were born on September 15th, 1997. And that startled her because she said that was in fact her birthday, but she did not verify this information. She says that they're taught not to give anything away about themselves. In fact, she says they're trained never to give out any personal information, no matter how small or trivial it seems. So she said she didn't react, she didn't confirm this with him, but it still shook her that he knew this about her. But every time from that point on that he would come to get his injection, he would verify that it was her by verifying her birthday. He would say, Sam, who was born on September 15th, 1997, and I'm so-and-so, who was born on September 15th, 1994. Never found out how he knew this information about her, but that's not even the creepy part. Eventually, he was transferred back to the state hospital due to not getting adequate psych medications, and he grew increasingly aggressive with other staff from the jail, especially when he was not properly medicated. Ultimately, he was just too hard to handle, and she said she did feel sad when he was transferred. But when an inmate is transferred, they also send all incident reports as well as how they handled the incidents to the facility where the inmates are being transferred. About a year after this inmate was transferred, Sam was sent to do a state training with the Department of Corrections that sought nurses and counselors who worked in correctional facilities to teach them how to handle certain situations and de-escalate mental crisis. It was a 2-week program, and she said it was a very knowledgeable course. And during one training exercise, they were instructed to share stories about things that had happened at their home jails and what they did to de-escalate those situations. The program then asked for feedback from the other counselors and nurses and tried to shed light on what could have been done differently. So during this exercise, Sam stands up and she shares a story about this inmate. Not necessarily the 4 and 7 story, just about how he had grown increasingly aggressive toward the end of his stay at her jail. The point in sharing the story was that if you build trust with inmates, it can sometimes help them be more cooperative with you one-on-one than they are as a whole with everybody else. So the course ends, and at lunch that day, another male nurse from a different jail comes up to Sam, and he says, you're Sam from such and such jail, right? She says, yes, I am. And he said, I have heard so much about you from an inmate at my facility. And it turned out that that inmate was the inmate that had been in Sam's jail, who had been transferred to the mental facility and was now under the care of this man. And apparently this inmate would now only work with this male nurse. And the male nurse says, I actually really admire him. I think he's got a really good heart. I think he's just, a little bit troubled. And Sam says, I have this story about him that I didn't share, but it always kind of stuck out to me as odd, but he knew my birthday, and I don't know how he knew it. That I never confirmed it with him, but I always just thought it was so bizarre. And the nurse looks at her and he's like, what's your birthday? And she's like, it's September 15th. And his jaw drops to the floor and he says, my birthday is September 15th. But this inmate had apparently never revealed to this male nurse that he knew that that was his birthday as well. And Sam says she is still mind blown as to how this inmate was aligned with both of them. What are the chances that the only...
What the fuck? Sometimes some of the things that my patients with schizophrenia say, I'm like, Are you telling the truth right now? Like, are you actually speaking to a higher power that's giving you all this information? Like, sometimes I'm like, huh. You know, it makes you think.
22 people that this inmate would work with at 2 different facilities would have the same birthday as him. Sam says she has plenty of other stories and maybe she'll share those sometime too, but she's just curious as to what you guys all think. Is he really just a mentally unstable?
Asking for a story time, so I'm gonna give it to you. This is the story of how the devil was in my garage. I'm not kidding.
Oh my god, that scared me. I'm wearing headphones, so that was like, oh my god, it just scared the fuck out of me.
I'm genuinely not kidding. This all started when me and my lovely friend decided we're gonna go see Moana in theaters because we have nothing better to do. We go to buy our ticket at the front desk. Oh, the showing's canceled because not enough people want to see it. But since we were there already, we decided, let's watch a movie. Wait, what's this one? What's this one called? I'm not gonna say I don't want that energy in my house, but you can infer. We go in the theater. 2 couples are there. Should have been our first warning. We're in the back giggling. It's a great time. We decide, oh, we have no idea what this movie's about, so let's watch the trailer. 30 seconds in, a headrest is in her skull and came out through her mouth. We stop watching it. We pause it. We look at each other and say, let's thug it out. Let's watch this movie. We had no idea what the plot is, still don't know what the plot is. All we know is that when we left that theater, we felt genuinely disgusting. Like, we felt
I have that same feeling when I leave the theater, like disgusting and gross, but it's because I eat my weight in popcorn with extra butter, and then I'll eat the chips and cheese with the disgusting microwavable nacho cheese. I'll have a giant ass soda. You know, back in the day, I might even order a couple White Claws, and then I'll have like 2 hot dogs, and I don't even stop there. I'll get the pretzel bites too. And, you know, it's a lot of savory, so I'll probably also get the pizza cookie, and then I'll eat all of it, and I will leave that movie feeling disgusting and gross. So I totally get where she's coming from, because I experience it.
The experience that made me believe in the paranormal. Like I said, I have been on a paranormal story kick, and specifically my own personal story. Just for some background context, I have lived in a multi-generational household pretty much my entire life, which basically means that my grandmother has lived with us for as long as I can remember. This time, I want to say I was like 7-ish, and there were only 2 bedrooms on the main floor of the home. My grandmother had the mother-in-law suite / apartment style living in the basement. She had the entire basement to herself. 2 primary bedrooms upstairs, and then my mom had converted our office that had 2 glass French doors into my room. She had created these curtains for me so nobody could see into my room at night, or I couldn't see anything out into the darkness of the living room. I've always been very afraid of the dark. On the weekends, I was notoriously a night owl, and I would watch movies and play video games super duper late into the night.
I play video games too. If you're a gamer, my PS5 gamer tag is Areola Granola. Add me. I don't have any friends on PlayStation besides my dad, and he doesn't play the games that I like to play. He plays like Elden Ring kind of stuff. I'm talking Fall Guys, Mortuary Assistant, Little Kitty Big City, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Stray. I don't know, like the games that are fun and girly pop, and Dead by Daylight. Did I say that one? Add me, Areola Granola, PS5.
2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, finally decided that it was time to go to bed. I paused the game I was playing, and right as I was opening Netflix up, I hear 2 very heavy bare feet running across the floor outside of my door.
Oh, hell to the no. Oh, hell no. That's why, my wife puts a crowbar under the bed. I'm ready. Something like that happens. Crowbar. Hell no.
I should say doors. Important to note that a good chunk of my parents' house has old oak floors, so hearing people walk is very distinct on flooring, and it did not sound like anybody that I had heard walk on.
That is so true. We have carpet upstairs, and then downstairs it's flooring. And so downstairs you can hear like which dog is walking by. We have dogs and cats. One of our cats is very fat, and he'll fool you. You will think you're hearing our bigger dog Biscuit walking around. It's Reba, and he's coming in hot and heavy because he's big. He's a big cat.
On the floor before. Obviously, I'm frozen in fear because who the hell is up at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning? I text in my sister and I's group chat with my mom, and I say, is anybody up? I already know the answer, but I just am leaning on the hope that somebody is up and somebody just got hungry in the middle of the night. But A, I am also close enough to the kitchen where if somebody turns on a light, I can see it come in through my curtains. And B, I didn't hear anybody come back, and I did not see a light come on. I just remember laying awake the rest of the night. The moment the sun came up, I was opening my French doors, running into my mom's room and being like, hey girl, did you get up last night for a snack? She said no. I would wait for my sister to get up and ask, did you get up in the middle of the night to get a snack? She says no. I even asked my grandmother, who is literally never upstairs, did you get up last night to get a cup of water or something or go to mom's room? She says no. From that point on, I don't know what it was. I don't know. I just knew that something was like messing with me. I haven't heard.
For those of you who are following me because of my paranormal content,
Would you explore a haunted cemetery?
Story time. Many a year ago, in the middle of the night, I woke up to footsteps in my bedroom. And I look up.
Hell no. Crowbar. Listen to me, guys. Listen. Crowbar. Gun. Flamethrower. Shovel. Bucket. Lamp. Anything you can get your hands on and just start beating them with it. Oh my god.
And there's a man in a white t-shirt walking around my room. And I'm just like, why is Josh up in the middle of the night? But then something moves in the corner of my eye and I look over and Josh is in bed next to me. So I look back and there's no man in a white t-shirt. So I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm just sleeping. It was a dream. I lay back down. I'm like, all right, we're going back to sleep. This is fine. Then I hear something. I look up to my left and there is a man in a white t-shirt, pretty heavy set, leaning over Josh's nightstand and looking through the blinds into the backyard. I'm looking and I'm blinking hard because I'm like, this isn't real. He's not actually there. Like, I could feel that he wasn't there, though I was seeing him. And I turn over and I'm like, it's fine. I'm
Absolutely not. I'd be like, Josh, wake the fuck up and handle this. Get up and handle this. Oh, hell no.
maybe having a hallucination. I'm in, sleep paralysis or something. I lay there and I'm like, but I'm not. Josh wakes up and I look at him and I'm like, Josh, there's a man in a white t-shirt walking around our room twice now. I don't.
What's going on with her audio? Are you guys hearing that? Or is it just me? Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you guys hear that with the audio? It can't just be me. Oh my god, I'm actually getting fucking scared. Oh my god. Is this the guy in the white t-shirt? That is moist critical. But equally as scary, if I saw him in my fucking room at night, I'm beating him with the crowbar. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Don't think he's real, but I've seen him, and it is extremely vivid. And he says, all the right things that a man...
The audio's not right. Can you hear that? Or is it just me? Oh my god. Oh my god. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Says to his wife, relax, calm down, woman, just kidding. He's not like that. But says all the right things. We end up going back to sleep. Within seconds, he shoots up in bed and he's like, I saw him, he's by the door. And I'm like, I knew it, I'm not crazy, I knew what I saw. And so we get up out of bed and I go check on the kids and we make sure the doors are locked and everything was fine. After a while, we go back to sleep. We leave the lights on because we're like, you know what? This is uncomfortable. We lay there for about 15 minutes with the lights on before Josh rolls over, turns it off, and we're like, it's fine. We're going to sleep. It was a thing. And then I slipped into a dream. And I was dreaming that I was in a truck and I was driving on a highway. And I was coming up to some turn where there's all these people lined up outside of the truck, and they were trying to say something to me, and I was trying to ignore them like they weren't there for some reason. I was just like, whatever, I'm just going, I want to go where I'm going. And I take a right, and as you know when you kind of take a turn, you kind of lean your body a little bit in the direction you're turning. That happened. And then suddenly, in real life, I feel a hand clap over my mouth and start pulling me. And I'm feeling like I'm being pulled, but I realize as I open my eyes, I'm not being pulled out of bed, I am being pulled out of my body into the astral realm. Now listen, I don't astrally project. It's not what I do. That is the ghost's house.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm not going there. And so this thing was forcing me, was grabbing, it was, I don't even know how to describe this feeling of being touched without being touched, and being pulled and having that forced, detached feeling. But I was in sleep paralysis, so I couldn't do anything about it. I was trying to scream. I was just kind of wheezing, making some weird high-pitched sounds, hoping that Josh was going to hear me and wake up. I ended up pulling myself out. And as soon as I kind of regather myself, I start hearing Josh's breathing change, which happens.
What is Josh good for? Oh my god. After this, I don't know if she's married to this guy or if they're just dating. When he wakes up, his ass is getting divorce papers. Fuck you, Josh. The fuck? Handle this. You're the man of the house. Handle it. What the hell are you doing?
When he goes into astral projection, that's when I know that he knows something's going on. He's now going astral because he's recognizing something's happened to me, which is a thing that happens with us. It's hard to explain. It's a whole other story.
So you're both into weird shit?
Within about a minute or so, he wakes up and he's like, all right, it's gone. But this was something different than what we've had before. This thing had taken on the form of someone that we knew, but wasn't living with us. And it was trying to convince Josh that he's okay, that he has a right to be there, so that we would let him stay. Josh did his thing. The thing was not completely gone. It kind of lingered around the room for a while, but it was gone. We didn't have any more issues. Morning comes, and I went downstairs to wake up the kids for school. And I'm by my daughter's bed, and I start hearing whistling, like a song, being whistled upstairs. I look at my daughter, and I'm like, what the heck? Why is Dad whistling? He doesn't whistle like that. And, I was like, all right, get up. It's time to go to school. Went upstairs. Josh was in the kitchen making coffee, and I was like, what was that whistling? It's like, that was new. And he just looks at me. He's like, I wasn't whistling. I'm like, yes, you were. It was a song. You were whistling like, and then I stopped because he was whistling the songs like the person that the entity was trying to be, or had taken the form of in Josh's situation. So I was like, okay, it's still here. And then I smudged the crap out of the house when I got back from dropping off the kids at school.
Fuck this lady for telling this story. Oh my god. Are you guys seeing this? That thumbnail is so fucking creepy. It looks like a hand is coming up in front of that lady. Are you guys seeing that? Oh my god. Oh my god. We need to cleanse this video. Here we go. Let's watch one of my videos. Let's go with this one.
This is nuggets and cheesy cream of rice. I don't have an explanation for this besides experimental gluttony.
And it wasn't even good. It was really nasty. So God knows why I did that. Ooh, here we go.
If you haven't watched the movie yet, this is a major spoiler for the end of the movie, so skip this video.
This lady goes on and spoils the whole damn movie!
It was about obsession, and this fucking lady, she spoiled the whole movie. She gave a movie review, and she spoiled the whole plot of the movie. So don't watch any videos by this lady. Here we go.
That the cigarette sales have been lower than they've ever been.
God, I wish someone would tell that to my neighbor. I think he's keeping cigarettes in business, actually. The way he goes through a pack a day. Every time I take my dogs out, I smell it. Cigarette smoke. I wish he would start vaping.
And you know what? I'm going to take back my former statement that I wish my neighbor would start vaping, because I don't wish he would start vaping. Vaping is actually so much fucking more dangerous than just smoking cigarettes, because it's got so much more nicotine in it, and it's working in healthcare. It's giving people popcorn lung, younger and younger and younger and younger and younger. They're having serious issues. Don't vape. It's not cool. Just be a loser like me. Don't vape. Keep your lungs safe, okay? Especially if you have asthma, okay? And